Hello and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it is all about the monster. We're a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Praska, and with me is... Oh, I forgot. There's no Khalid today. It's just me. Hey, everybody. You're stuck with just Joe. Well, not the entire time. We'll get to something. But, unfortunately, Khalid is off doing some fancy, important Los Angeles, Hollywood things, so he's not joining us today, unfortunately. But he should be back for the next episode. I am just here solo for a little bit to introduce an interview that I was able to do recently with a very talented artist by the name of Emily Hare. And Emily was gracious enough to come talk to me about her artwork, which is all and mostly focused on monsters, the cute yet somewhat terrifying looks of monsters. We connected through her work, the mini book of monsters, which is on the way to my house. I've ordered my copy, and I'm really excited to go through it. And we talked about a lot of her other work, her other artwork, ranging from fantasy settings to work for Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. It was a very fun conversation, and I'm really, really excited for you all to hear it. It's a change of pace from what we normally do here. We talk about a movie or a show or something like that, but a podcast that's all about monsters, and when we talk about corners of pop culture, it's fun to shake it up like this and talk about something different. So yeah, this episode is all about monster artwork. But before we jump into the interview itself, I just wanted to remind you that you should check out our social pages. You can like Frankenstein's podcast over on Facebook or follow us at Franken Podcast on Twitter. We are not an L Franken podcast. I will remind you once more. And be sure to subscribe to our subreddit run by a friend of the podcast, Ryan Mintz. Our Friendensteins, I said it right there, so Khalid should be impressed if he's listening somewhere. Our Friendensteins. And then, of course, if you're gracious enough, please leave us a nice 5-star rating. We would love that. And that would really help others find the enjoyment of our show. Anyway, without further ado, here is my interview with Emily Hare.
What a monster.
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
Joining me today is artist, painter, and author Emily Hare, all the way over from the UK. We had a little time zone snafu, but we made it. We got together. So Emily, welcome, and thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. It's very exciting.
It's so nice to talk to you. I've been really excited ever since I saw some of your paintings. The Little Book of Monsters was what I think I saw first that drew me to some of your work, and I was like, this is so cool, and so getting to talk to you is kind of a treat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun doing that book because I've the cute things. People seem to really respond to cute stuff. I mean, that's not why I did it, but I like making stuff that makes me laugh or puts a smile on my face. And some of them, as I paint them, will actually get a laugh out of me while I'm painting them. Not all of them, but occasionally. And then making up little stories about them is good fun as well.
I love that. So before we dig into some of your work specifically, I actually have a couple questions that I've asked every guest on our podcast. Mm-hmm. And so I think they're thematically connected to monster stuff, so I think it'll be okay for you.
Yeah.
But in all of pop culture, so whether that's maybe art, music, I never had a music answer, but books, TV shows, comics, movies. What's your favorite monster that you've come across? And if it isn't the same, what would you kind of consider maybe the scariest one that you've come across?
Oh, I think the first thing that comes to mind is The Thing. Is it 82? The John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yeah. I think it's 80. Yeah, I think you're right. 82 or 84.
81, 82 or something like that. I think that's probably the most horrifying for me. I think because it infects humans and sort of, it's not really an individual monster and it changes all the time. And yeah, that would probably be my most frightening or the most...
Good answer.
The grossest. It's a bit... I'm not really into body horror stuff, but I suppose that does come under body horror type horror. But yeah, it's probably that one.
It's a good choice. Yeah, we did the thing on this podcast a while back too. It's a really fun one to dig into. A lot of just wacky and innovative practical effects. So it's
Yeah.
I never would have thought myself as a body horror fan either, but just kind of learning about how some of that stuff comes to be. It's just so fascinating to watch, especially from that era.
Yeah, it makes it so much more. Even though you can see that it's been made, it's more frightening to me than the CGI now. I mean, it's very rare that CGI makes you go ugh, because it's just it's too clean, or I don't know. Like, did you see the prequel of the thing, the 2011 one?
Yeah, it doesn't hold up as well.
It doesn't, but it's. I mean, they definitely, obviously, the people that made it obviously loved the original, and apparently they did make all the stuff practical, but they ended up being told they needed to put CGI on top.
It's got to be so disappointing for the creators of that movie. Like, that could have been another classic, maybe that. I mean, I don't know if that would have been the difference or not, but yeah. But you got to respect that effort, though.
Yeah, and it's a great soundtrack. The original, really good soundtrack on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Carpenter himself did it too, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he does music. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, fun fact. Would the Thing also be your favorite monster then, or just the most scary?
No, I don't think it's my favorite monster. I should have asked for this question before coming on, because I'm trying to think. Favorite monster from like folklore would probably be Grendel from Beowulf. You know, the story of Beowulf. I think
that's a good answer. We've never had that one yet, actually.
Because I really, really want to do a book of Beowulf. But I don't know how to do it, just purely because it'll take so long. But yeah, it's my favourite story. I can't remember when I first heard the story, but since I heard it, completely obsessed with the story and love it, and got a few different versions. And but yeah, Grendel is always described in a very the sort of the eating of the men is always very visceral in the poem. So yeah, I think that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, good answer. Yeah, one of the most classic monsters.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the old. I mean, I'm racking my brain now for monsters, but yeah, I think my probably one of my favorites, just because of the whole sort of the build up to it, and the horrible. Well, he has a rather horrible end as well.
Yeah,
it's always good.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
The other question that I always ask people is kind of, what do you consider to be sort of on your geek card? Like, I know we're all sort of geeky about something and really into something. And for you, maybe that's art, or maybe that's something different, or maybe it's monsters also, like us. What's something that you're just really into or really passionate about?
Oh, I've got quite a few things.
That's all right.
But now I'm a bit geeky about gardening and growing vegetables.
I love it.
It's not very monster related, but monster vegetables could grow large vegetables. I did grow an amusingly large squash a couple of years ago, which was that was quite good.
That's no small feat. I've tried before to grow big squash. Always gets eaten by critters.
Oh, but this one was, I grew it up something, so it was dangling down, so it wasn't sort of at earth level. So it was all right. But yeah, gardening, and I used to be completely obsessed with horses growing up. So I can get quite nerdy about horses, but I've sort of lost. I'm not in the circle anymore of horse stuff. So I probably don't really pass as a horse nerd anymore. But I get a bit nerdy about horses in films, because they get it wrong in films. You know, like the horse that they choose or something. Yeah, it's a bit sad. But yeah, that's probably my nerdy things at the moment.
Gardening and horses, I like it.
Gardening and horses, yeah, or sewing. Like, I make my own clothes. So yeah, there's a few things I get a bit enthused about. I tend to get like onto something and do it, you know, get into it really intensely, and then we'll drop it for a while and forget about it and do another thing intensely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I know how that goes. Well, thanks for answering those questions. That's awesome.
It's all right.
So digging into your work specifically, so you are an illustrator or artist, you
Yeah.
create different kinds of monsters, different kinds of. I tend to kind of think of them as various whimsical imagery when I look
Yeah.
at some of your work, which I really like it. But I wanted to ask you just first and foremost, what kind of I think you might have answered this even before we started recording, but what kind of drew you to creating monsters as an art form?
Do you mean the ones I've just done?
Or
Or
any,
sort of
like
in
just maybe
general?
beginning, like I think you started
Um,
with was it Strange Hollow?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, what
Strange
kind of drew
Hollow,
you to that?
I would say I part of the reason for doing Strange Hollow was I was very, very scattered with my art, and I was very like, I go, oh, I want to do a picture of Beowulf, and then I want to do a Pegasus, and it would just be completely unfocused, and my style would jump around as well. And so with Strange Hollow, I thought, right, okay, I need to try and concentrate on one theme. So I thought, I'll paint the inhabitants of an enchanted forest. That was the sort of brief I gave myself. So everything would have to live in the same world, rather than me just seeing something shiny over there that I wanted to paint and doing that. And then, my portfolio would be lots of different things from different worlds, as it were. And at the same time, I was also getting back to traditional painting, which I started with, but then I'd gone back I did a lot of digital painting when I was working as an illustrator. And so at the same time as painting this enchanted forest, I was also sort of getting back into watercolors. And that the sort of thinking about, okay, what does this creature do? What does it eat? What's it eaten by? All that sort of thing kind of got me much more focused about what I can't really explain it very well, actually. It helped me develop a style, I suppose. My style was always there. Like, I can look back at my older work and I can see the sort of the bits of me that were always there throughout the sort of the different styles, from the outside. But another thing that happened is I was doing a lot less scary stuff. So pre Strange Hollow, I really loved werewolf stuff. I did a lot of gory things. But I think I did it because I really love other people's art that's spooky and gory and weird. But what I'm really good at is the whimsical and maybe a bit silly and maybe a bit funny. And it took me quite a while to realise that that's what I should be doing. But I only found that out when I started trying to paint this enchanted forest. And then it just became filled with different monsters and creatures and things. It's not sort of that monstery compared to the mini book of monsters, but even the mini book of monsters, they're just they're creatures, really. But some of them are much more monstery than others. I don't know. What is the definition of monster even? I don't know if I know. Is it?
Oh, I think we're always coming up with different ideas. I mean, for us in our podcast, like monster is just an excuse to talk about any kind of creature or interesting, like non-human thing.
Yes.
So, I mean, pretty much anything you describe, I feel like could fit the definition. Monster almost comes with a negative connotation a lot, but I think that's kind of not really fair, because there's so many monsters that are, cute, or even just reflect a different element of a metaphor or an allegory that are not necessarily evil or bad by any means.
Yeah. I mean, I love if it can be cute, but also a little bit disturbing. I really like it if I can get that sort of make someone laugh with a cute creature or something, and then they're like, oh, actually, that might not be. I might, I kind of want to pet it, but will it bite me? That kind of, maybe, I suppose, the gremlin or critters kind of vibe for that. But
I was just thinking that too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Grew up with Gremlins. I didn't watch Critters, I don't think, growing up. I think I saw pictures of it, and it probably scared me.
They're less cute.
They're not very cute at all. But even the turned Gremlins are pretty gross. But Gizmo, I thought it was pretty cute. But it was Labyrinth, Jim Henson stuff. That was I was completely taken with, and I can probably kind of trace my the sort of stuff I do now, I would say, is in that sort of a bit more gentle, it can be sinister, but most of the time it's kind of a bit funny, maybe. I don't know.
Mhm. That's a good connection. Labyrinth is a awesome movie. I know that I think it's coming up on its 35th anniversary. I saw they're going to release it in some theaters in the US here for a little bit again. But I'm excited. I'm going to definitely want to try to catch it if I can, or at least watch it at home in honor of the anniversary again. But
oh man, I that was the second film that I ever saw in the cinema, and I was 11, I think.
wow.
And the first film was the Care Bears movie, I think, when I was very little. But it completely blew my mind. The whole thing, it was amazing. And Ludo and those fire things, I can't remember what they're called. Those sort of scary things in the swamp that want to take her head off.
Yeah.
All of that, I think made a big impact.
Yeah, so creative.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I wanted to ask you a little bit. So I've seen going through some of the books that you've put out. You've got Strange Hollow, and I think you have a follow up to that, Secrets of Strange Hollow, correct?
Yeah, that was the one. That was end of last year. I did that one.
Okay, so if folks were to go, buy your books, what would they expect? Is it primarily an art book, or do you add some story to it, or more descriptions?
It's a bit. It is a storybook. I would say it's a storybook, but there's maybe sort of a scattering of short stories, and then mainly more so descriptions of the creatures and what they do or how they behave and things like that. So there's a couple of short stories in them, but unfortunately the first book sold out last week, which has taken 4 years.
Wow. Congrats.
Amazing. Yeah, it's great. That was that whole Kickstarter that I did has completely changed my life with regards to my art. So it's been an amazing thing. But yeah, it's mostly there's a lot of art. It is an art book, but it's not in the sort of traditional art book where it's art of the artist. It's there's definitely stories, and it's definitely trying to give you a vibe about the place or the going into Strange Hollow.
So it's kind of art reflecting the world that you've sort of imagined. Yeah,
a bit like a nature documentary kind of vibe.
You also have a couple other books, Apothecary and Cauldron. Could you tell us a little bit about those?
Yes, Cauldron came after the first Strange Hollow, and that was it was quite that was a very strange book to make, because after I'd made Strange Hollow, it was such a big turned into such a big thing. I didn't expect it to, and I didn't feel like I had any more Strange Hollow in me at the time. So I thought, well, I'll do something that's still in the similar sort of vein that I also really enjoy, is witches and witchcraft and spooky stuff, and more creatures, because they have their familiars in the book, and ingredients which also include creatures. But it didn't flow out of me as easily as Strange Hollow did. I have no idea why to this day. But it's a collection of short stories again, and descriptions of witches and their familiars and what they're up to and stuff like that, basically. And the Apothecary one is just a collection of my sketches. So it's not a storybook at all. It's literally it is an art book.
Yeah, so that sounds like more of the art book where it's like the artist.
Yeah, it's just lots and lots of sketches in one book, basically.
That's cool. And so you kind of mentioned that the Kickstarter sort of changed your life and how you approach your art and your craft. And you were doing freelance before that. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. So what kind of got you started on like, I'm gonna try a Kickstarter. I'm gonna start doing this. Like, how did that begin?
Well, my other half, Matt, he had done a couple of Kickstarters and they've been really successful. And I'd seen other artists doing them successfully. Because when I started drawing Strange Hollow, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is going to be a Kickstarter. It was about maybe 2 or 3 months into creating the images that I thought, this could be a book. And as soon as I thought that, I was thinking, okay, a Kickstarter, I could do that. So I already had Matt's experience behind me to help me sort of set that up and know where to start and how to present it and things like that. But at that point, I had clients and things for illustration, but I found it really difficult to get work because at that point I was still, my style was all over the place. So Strange Hollow has helped me develop that style. And so once Strange Hollow did really well, I suddenly thought, well, actually, if I can keep making books, not necessarily Strange Hollow, but if I can do more books like this, maybe one a year, I could actually make a living just doing my own creations rather than other people's creations. So that's kind of what happened as Strange Hollow came out, and as the Kickstarter finished, I got less and less, or I took less and less commissions or client work, and decided to just kind of try and make it on my own. And I also had a Patreon page at the time. Do you know what? Yep, familiar with Patreon. Yeah. So I had a Patreon page at the time as well. So that and sort of selling my prints and all that sort of thing has kind of started to grow slowly. I'm not on Patreon anymore, but I do have a membership that I built myself. So the more I got into Strange Hollow and the more I did my own books, the more picky I was able to be with the jobs I took. And actually, I got one of the most fun jobs ever, having done Strange Hollow, and they'd found me, I think, from seeing my art online, for a card game for, name is, Humblewood.
Oh, really?
And it's a D&D thing. I'm trying to remember the other. I can't remember the other name. Anyway, so I did some work for Humblewood, a couple of cards, and then they came back and asked if I wanted to do another deck, which was all creatures and D&D characters, which was really good fun because I've never done D&D. I was aware of it, but I wasn't that familiar with it, so I was sort of coming to the characters completely sort of dumb, as it were, to what they were meant to be like. So they wanted me to do my style, which previously I'd never been asked to do. So yeah, that was really good.
That is so cool that's so cool to hear. I actually was thinking about that a little bit when I was looking through your art, that some of it gave me some D&D vibes. I play D&D with a group of friends, cool. Every other week or so. So it's something that's kind of in my life, but I didn't actually know much about Humblewood. I'm looking it up right now. It says Humblewood is actually, it's a campaign setting for 5e in which you get to play as bird folk and other woodland creatures. Seems very much so up your alley.
Yes, I did 4 cards in the end for them. I did a nightmare. I did a lesser demon, which was so much fun. That was the first one I did, and they pretty much just let me do what I want with that character. It sort of came out straight away. They described the lesser demon, and it had apparently stinky, horrible breath. So it's got green smoke coming out of its mouth and stuff. And then what was it? There's something called a quasit. And can't remember the other ones, but after that, then them coming back for, I think it was the Deck of Illusions, which I don't know if it's on their website, but it was a deck attached to another Kickstarter they were doing.
Okay.
And they had like holographic effects on the deck. So not holographic. That thing where you move the card and it's moving.
Yeah, it's like I don't always forget the word, like lenticular.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
So the magic or the creatures on it would move. So yeah, I was part of that as well, which was really good fun. I think that was 35 cards or something. It was
wow.
Yeah.
Cool. That's not a tangent at all. That's super interesting.
You got to stop me. I do tangents it comes naturally. So.
In a sense, that's what podcasts are for. I mean, we're all basically just going off on tangents.
Yeah. Mm.
I read a lot of your blog posts before this. Also, one of the ones that I thought was really interesting was the one where you wrote "Where to Find Inspiration."
Oh yeah.
Really fascinating stuff. But I really liked how you described how you find inspiration for your fantastical creatures, like in real life, in nature, in real life.
Yes.
Would you be willing to kind of expand on that a little bit?
I'm trying to remember what I wrote in the blog post now. Yeah, I mean, the natural world is weirder than anything like we can come up with. So I mean, nature documentaries have always been. I mean, I grew up absolutely sort of hooked on nature documentaries. You know, David Attenborough and all that stuff. And if I'm feeling like I don't know what to draw, or if I'm say I've got another Strange Hollow book planned for next year, and if I want to sort of try and find inspiration for that, I will watch some nature documentaries, basically, or even just going for a walk. Or, but sometimes if I'm watching a nature documentary and I'll see some sort of weird creature, it might not be that I want something to look like that creature. It's almost it gives me an idea for another creature. I don't know how to explain it really. It's like a sudden aha moment, and sometimes it can happen watching non-nature documentaries or stuff like that, or just talking about something or reading. But yeah, and Pinterest, of course, just looking at pictures of animals. But animals definitely are my biggest inspiration because it's so completely bizarre, the stuff that nature throws out there, that I can't do better than nature. So it's a really good source of inspiration and making my sort of feeding the bank of creatures in my head, I suppose. And the more that go in there and get shuffled about, hopefully it makes them a bit more interesting. I mean, I do tend to stick to sort of, there are shapes that you kind of get attracted to. Like I love a wide apart eye. So I'm always, I think it's, you could probably tell if there's a creature, you could probably see that I'd made it because it'll have my fingerprint on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's definitely shapes and stuff that I'm drawn to and I tend to sort of go back to. And sometimes it's completely unconscious. So I have to sometimes be very careful to try and, break that. Otherwise, yeah, you just end up doing the same shapes over and over again.
Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of get what you're saying with like seeing a creature, and even if it inspires you to make something that's nothing like what you saw. I kind of get that. Like it's almost like it sparks like a light bulb, or like in a train of thought or something that maybe takes you to something different.
Yeah. And or maybe something that it's so my fairies in Strange Hollow, and I'm not the first artist to have this idea. The fairies have a life cycle like a butterfly, so they'll lay eggs, and then they'll hatch a caterpillar, and then that caterpillar will then turn into a chrysalis. And the different fairies, so there's a leatherwing fairy, which is a sort of bat-winged blood-sucking fairy, and then there's the tree fairies, so they always stick to the tree that they hatch on and things like that. So each type of fairy has a different kind of chrysalis as well, and a different caterpillar. So the leatherwing caterpillar is a cannibal and will eat the caterpillars from the common fairy, which like to eat psychedelic mushrooms. So the craggle, which is the larvae or the caterpillar of the leatherwing fairy, that one hangs around psychedelic mushrooms, and it also happens to have mushroom-shaped protrusions on its back so that it can be ambush its prey and eat the other fairy offspring. So there's all sorts of stuff like that going on.
Oh, to be a naturalist in that world.
And there's birds to eat. There's the fairy eating birds as well, and so on and so forth. There's usually something that will eat something else. I kind of like that idea of there's a bigger fish and a bigger fish and a bigger fish.
Yeah.
kind of thing. I've always enjoyed that. Like in Star Wars or something, there's this, some sort of vast creature, and then another one even bigger comes up and eats it. I always love when
Yep.
they do that in movies.
Yeah, that's a great moment.
Yeah,
That I feel like perfectly like encapsulate what you're saying about how, you want this kind of like cute, whimsical world, but there's like this element of like not quite safe. Not everything's safe. Like, there's a little bit of danger there, a little bit of malice, a little bit of menace.
Yeah. You definitely wouldn't want to get. You don't want to get lost in strange horror. You probably won't come out.
Yeah. So it seems like the vibe I get from a lot of your work is definitely like strongly in the sort of fantasy realm.
Yeah.
And you did mention that you used to do a little bit more in the horror realm, like with some werewolves and some stuff. Do you think you'll ever return to horror, or do you feel like you're more drawn to this fantasy sort of vibe?
It's a good question. I don't know, because I really, really enjoyed like doing a really, really, really gory, drooly. I mean, it was never. It was gory, so there was blood, but it wasn't sort of werewolves ripping people apart or anything like that. Although there was a werewolf with a person's hand in his mouth, but it was funny. It's not. It wasn't. It was gory, but there's some humor in there. So I think I probably would go back to that. But I have to be like around Halloween time. I do definitely get more in the mood for do something a bit spooky or a bit gross. But I don't know at the moment. I kind of need to try and just follow my nose, as it were, and see where I go, because I didn't think that I would do cute stuff at all, and I've ended up doing cute stuff. I mean, it's not all cute, but I think there's definitely a chance I'd do horror again. But it would probably not be. It wouldn't be super, explicit horror. It would probably be verging more on the spooky and a bit of hint of the gore. Of course, if I do Beowulf, there's got to be lots of gore and a bit of horror. So, yeah, I'd have to do it then.
Also, the worlds and the creatures that you create all feel. I'm trying to say this, like kind of native and natural to the world that you've created. So, like, I guess terrestrial. Have you ever delved into or even felt drawn to creating something more like alien, like extraterrestrial, like, oh, these are alien creatures?
Yes, I have
a sci-fi world.
I have a plan for something alien related, but I'm slightly what's the word? I'm not. It's when I get the time to do it, I suppose. Is because I'll try and plan out a year ahead, but. I've got an idea for some fun alien stuff, but it's where that fits with all the other things that I've already got on, because I've got a really long list of, I want to do that and I want to do that. So it's sometimes it shuffles around and some things get put first, but I definitely want to do. I mean, I love sci-fi as a genre, so yeah. But I don't know how people would react to it, because, of course, there's no spaceships or anything in my art. Whether people would
it'd be a left turn,
yeah. But anything that inspires me, I'll do it. So I think you can probably safely say that there will be some aliens at some point.
That's so cool. I'm excited
probably
for that.
Within the next 2 years, I would say, maybe. In
Awesome.
that sort of time frame. But I'm not going to say what.
That's okay. Yeah. To be determined.
Or we'll see. I know what it's going to be, but I don't want to say it out loud yet.
Just a gentle tease. I like it.
Yeah.
Your work is primarily watercolors. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
What kind of helped you settle on watercolors as sort of the medium that you like to create your art with?
Part of the reason was space. So living in both me and Matt work in an attic room of our house, and it's not very big, so there's no real sort of ventilation. So anything like oils, we'd be like suffocating very quickly, and there's just not enough space to properly get into that sort of painting. And I did used to paint in oils, but haven't done for years. But yeah, it's basically a space issue. That's kind of why I stuck with it. And once I got back into it, it's such a unreliable. Unreliable is the wrong word. It's kind of magical watercolor, because you can't. So I couldn't copy a painting that I've already done exactly. It won't ever look exactly the same. In the same way as you can copy an oil painting or an acrylic, because of the way watercolors behave, which is slightly, I don't know. You can't. You can control them to a certain degree, and then because of the nature of the water and the pigment, it goes all, and the way the paper behaves as well. You can't paint the same painting twice exactly. So there's a sort of magic to that. And it's made me much more patient as well, because I can't rush things. I have to plan pictures now. Whereas with digital, of course, you can just press undo or start another layer or whatever. So I've kind of fallen in love with it now, and I don't know when I'll try something else because it's kind of addictive, because I can do more with it now than when I did Strange Hollow. Like I've seen my the paintings I can tackle now are very different to what I could tackle when I made the first Strange Hollow. So I kind of think, what I'm going to be able to do in another 5 years. What will I be able to? How will I be able to? Maybe I'll do really giant watercolors, because they're not very big. Most of my paintings, they're sort of pretty. I'm just trying to think what it would be in American sizes. Because I'm in A sizes, so A4 is kind of A4 and A3 is sort of the largest I'll go, and I think that's equivalent of like sort of just a bit bigger than 10 by 8 or something like that.
All right. I feel like you definitely made the watercolor like part of your vibe, and it feels like it really fits with the worlds, and like we keep saying the word whimsy or whimsical kind of feeds into that a lot, and so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, because it's all sort of, it's a bit blurry, or especially the way I paint, because I like them. You can paint with wet technique with watercolors, and so when you put the paint down on a wet piece of paper, then it's going to bleed and go soft, or if you put pigment on dry paper, then it's going to be a hard edge thing. So I love that kind of the softness of it, and I tend to sort of go in that direction with the kind of soft side of the watercolors.
Yeah,
I think it works well on the magic stuff.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up here. Last couple questions, just for time's sake. But I mentioned earlier that we kind of connected while you're promoting your newest book, the Mini Book of Monsters. So for people listening who may not know much about your work, could you elaborate on what that is?
Mini Book of Monsters is a little. I'm just trying to think. I think it's about 5 by 5 inches. It's 148 millimeters for the metric folks. A little tiny book filled with 40 monsters. So most of them I created for the book. There are a couple of them which I have had created over the last couple of years, but hadn't gone in another book. So they've ended up in there as well. Each monster has a name. Mostly, pretty much all of them got kind of human-sounding names. So there's Harold and Henry and Gregor, and lots of sort of. There's something very, very funny to me about a monster having a human name. I don't know why. It's kind of like when people name their pets with human names as well. There's something. I don't know why it's funny, or it entertains me anyway. So each of them has a special name, and they all have a little description about each of them, of what they do, maybe their favorite hobby or what they like to eat or stuff like that. It's very silly. And yeah, any age would find it entertaining, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like a fun one to share with kids too.
Yeah, I think the kids, because I don't have kids myself, but I've definitely noticed a lot of people saying that their kids have really enjoyed Strange Hollow, and now the Little Monsters are very popular. Because most of them are grinning as well, so it's kind of like they're having a candid, or not a candid photo, but having a little portrait taken.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get to sort of create little individuals, and giving them names and then giving them a little sort of a hobby or something just brings them to life, rather than just, I don't know, just here's a monster. If you can say something about it, I think it gives it a lot more character.
Yeah, I really love that. You kind of, they're not just, it's not just an image of a random monster. It has like a personality, or you have a backstory to it or something like that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Is there any connection between the monsters in the mini book, but between them and Strange Hollow? No,
there isn't actually, but I mean, there's definitely, because I've made it, it's going to have a bit of a look of it, I suppose. But they're far more. They're not. I'm not making them with in mind to fit them into a particular world. Like, I'm not trying to make them all feel like all of the monsters in the book could be from the same place, although they probably could be, just because it's me that's painted them. But yeah, they're not. None of them are from Strange Hollow, but maybe one or two of them could be.
Okay.
I don't think they're not going to be, but yeah, they're sort of. My main aim for it was just to make funny little creatures, really, and entertain myself and entertain everyone else as well, hopefully.
It's awesome. Before we wrap up here, I just wanted to thank you again for being willing to talk to me on the podcast today. It's been really fun to learn about your process and the worlds that you've created. I know, being this kind of a podcast, we talk a lot about creature design and monster art, and I will say that ever since I saw your book, and even just talking to you now and learning more about your work, you've definitely kind of shot up as one of my favorite monster artists that I've seen out there. So I'm really enjoying seeing what you put out there and what you're coming up with next.
Yeah, I can't wait to. I'm looking forward to doing sort of slightly less cute stuff. So I'm about to do a calendar of mythical horses, which is definitely not. It's not going to be cute, but I'm slightly kicking myself for giving myself that task, because it's really difficult.
No!
But it's really good fun. Yeah, there's going to be the Sleipnir as well. I don't know if you know Sleipnir, Odin's. The god Odin's horse with 8 legs, which is kind of
Odin's horse with 8 legs.
Yes,
I've
done that one. I've still got quite a few left to do, but yeah, there's some really cool folklore about horses, and most of them seem to be similar to the Kelpie, which will basically lurk about near rivers and lakes and things and drag you down. Once you go and try and pet the horse, you basically get stuck to it, and then it drags you down and I think eats you, or I don't know. But there's so much horse mythology is based around horses that basically drag you away and kill you. It's a bit odd.
Something not so fun if you're in that scenario, but interesting to learn about and look at.
Yeah. There's some real weird stuff out there.
It's cool callback to your fandom back there, your fandom for horses.
Yes, yeah. Well, that was one of the reasons I sort of thought I should do it, because I used to paint pet portraits and horse portraits for people, so got to stretch or flex the muscles, horse drawing muscles.
You got anything else coming up that you want to plug or tell people to look out for?
I think it's just that one. So that the calendar will come out, or I'll kickstart that end of September.
Okay.
And then next year will be the next Strange Hollow book.
Ooh, exciting. We'll definitely share your stuff on our pages and everything too.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Yeah. It's going to be fun. I've got lots of ideas for the next Strange Hollow now. I can't believe there's still ideas coming out, but they're there somehow.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's good.
Is there any place that you want to plug that listeners can come find you, your website, social medias?
Yes, website is emilyhare.co.uk, and Hare is spelled Hare. And you can pretty much, if you type in my name, you'll find all my social media stuff. So so Twitter and Instagram, it's all art by Emily Hare is the handle for that. But yeah, you can find my social media through my website really easily, and I'm pretty sure that I come up quite soon on Google. So if anyone's interested, then can have a little look.
For sure. And and again, I'll make sure to link those in our notes as well, so people can find them pretty easily.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming on. It was a blast to chat with you.
Thank you so much, Joe. It's been really good.
Yeah. And the invitation is open. If you ever want to come back, if you just talk about a movie or a show or just chat monsters again, you are always welcome to come back on Frankenstein's podcast.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks again. Thanks again, Emily. Check out her stuff. Check out the show notes for links. And until next time, folks listening, creep it easy.